Hello and welcome to the Stina Show. We're live on Thursdays, and it's nice to have you. I decided to go live this week because I want this show to bring positivity to people. I think we need it more than ever with all the media. Hey, Abby. Yeah, we need as much positivity as possible. So I want to bring on more healers and people that can help us. Thank you. I have no lens. It's a trick. um, I want to bring on more people that can help us escape this crazy world we live in a positive, healing way. So today's guest is Jason Taylor, Jason Ryan Taylor. He goes by as well. And he is going to... Hey, Jason. I'm going to bring you in right now. All right. Welcome, Jason. Oh my
Hello.
gosh.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, my darling.
How's it going?
How are you, my friend?
I'm good. I just got back from a little dentist cleaning.
Wow, how was it?
Yeah, hello. Hello,
That's
Pisces.
my mom.
Oh, Pisces count as well.
Yeah.
I got a special place in my heart for you, Pisces.
Mom's a Pisces, March 14th,
All right. That's
Pi
nope.
Day.
I thought it was a different date in my mind. So, welcome to the Stina Show. I'm your
Yes.
and it's so good to see you.
You too. I guess we could just, I have a whole list of questions and some submitted questions. So I know, let's just talk about this so we could, talk about what's going on in what's in the real world right now so we can address it straight on. Well, first of all, let me say Happy Pride Month on a positive note. And then, it's heavy stuff these days, and I know your music, you have positive intentions when creating your music, and you've been around the world almost learning about other cultures, excuse me, and you're a very diverse, loving human being who incorporates everyone and everything into their world. So,
Thank you. I would agree.
so what do you think of the current situation? Do you think you're going to maybe write some music reflecting, or what kind of art are you going to create from this?
Well, it's funny you should ask. Yeah, I've been writing and I've been doing live streams and writing with people to do like collaborative efforts so that people who don't really know how to process their emotions, I've been going live and writing songs through the live stream. And then people can just sing their lyrics and send them via Instagram or anything. And then I import them into Logic. And right now, I feel like what is most important is that people are heard, that they feel safe to be heard. And so, I keep seeing like, oh, if you support the president, you're blocked. And it's like, well, wait, that's an opportunity. Somebody who sees differently from you, here's an opportunity for maybe both of us to learn something. And so I'm really kind of putting my effort toward getting people to continue the dialogue and to really get to the bottom of it. I have a particular neighbor that we just don't see eye to eye about what's going on right now. And she's a good person with a good heart, but she's also got some beliefs that are limiting her ability to love. And so we work on it and we try to get to the bottom of it. And really, at the end of the day, what's happening is we're moving from an ego system to an ecosystem. So
Oh, wow, nice.
yeah, so I would say that the days of celebrity are kind of waning because there are no celebrities. There's only people.
Right.
And it's really who you choose to give your power to. And so you asked what I'm working on right now, and I'm writing a book. And it's called The Distribution of Wealth and Power from Jesus Till Today and How to Get Yours Back. And
Wow, congrats.
thank you. I could save you the time of reading the book, and really it just has to do with change taking place on the internal level. once you meditate and tune in and find peace within, you'll start to find peace without. And the outside can't affect the inside. It's the inside, the outside. So right now, the revolution will not be televised. It will be internalized.
I agree with you. And people aren't talking about the inside at all. I mean, barely.
Yeah. Yeah, there's
But
lots of,
that's good. You
yeah,
noticed that, right? I tweeted that today. I said, don't let go of your spiritual, physical, mental health because we're being tested to just let them all go right now.
right. Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's most important is peace within. And it's completely your responsibility. You can't blame anybody because at the end of the day, if you're not in a peaceful state, you're not doing the work. And so, like right off the top, I'll say right now that if you're not in a peaceful state, if the outside world is affecting your internal world and you don't know how to navigate, reach out to me. You can send me a DM. You can email me, no drinks on the piano at gmail.com. I have lots of resources. I used to work in a mental hospital. I've gone through more coaches than Tony Robbins, I swear. So, like, really, if you don't know what I'm talking about or you're not sure how to get there and find that peace within, shoot me a message and we can work together.
All right. Thank you for all the fans out there and people who need a little guidance. That's nice because right off the bat, you think I need a therapist. Oh, do I have health insurance? Or,
Right.
but no one thinks about spiritual therapists, which is
Right.
just as important as emotional.
Yeah, we don't have a healthcare system. We have a sick care system. So there's no profits in eating celery and medicine.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, God forbid you live longer. Um, so, all right. So let's start. Let's go back in time. What inspired you to pursue music? And as a child, uh, yeah, what were some of your guidances?
I can remember somewhere around 4 or 5 years old, I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan on stage. And I asked my dad, what is that? Because I had only seen like acoustic guitars, which I called country guitars.
Oh,
That's a rock and roll guitar. And I said, I gotta have a rock and roll guitar. And the next year, he got me a country guitar. And that lasted me for a while. And God forbid we live longer, right?
Tara.
On a separate note, I heard that people used to live like 600 years, and so if you aren't living in the distraction of this carnivore, fear-based world, perhaps maybe we could make it to 2, 3, 4, 500 years old. There's supposedly yogis that are living up in the mountains now, in the Himalayas that have been around since the 1500s, and there was a whole nother enlightenment period back then. But so yeah, tying back.
Nice.
I think it was Stevie Ray Vaughan was the first guy that I saw that was really doing it, and I used to put pots and pans in my bedroom and like laundry baskets and just bang on them with spatulas and
Oh,
beats. And I've just always been a very noisy person. I feel that sound has been the most powerful force in my life. It's something that you can't see, but it really, really moves you, and I just can't get over that.
so we're created by sound, right? Waves.
At the smallest level of what we can see with like an electron microscope, there's the slightest movements there's trillions of Plancks, Planck, inside of each one of your protons, and these tiny little wiggles, they're almost like just little like U wiggles, and it's like the DNA of the universe. And the more that we look into it, and if you look up the scientist, his name is Nassim Haramein. He goes really into depth about this, that the DNA of our DNA, so deep within our cells, the trillions of Plancks within our cells hold the information of the entire universe. And so if you're forced to sit in stillness, and or you choose to sit in stillness, for me, I was forced 10 years ago. I broke my neck.
Oof.
And that was the first kind of moment that shifted my life, as I was forced to sit in stillness. And so I tuned in to this natural energy, and I started to let go of the external forces that were working on me, and I started to notice the truth that is underneath all of the chaos and the bliss and the peace that emanates, and we're constantly in blossoming and blooming. And so if you can tune into that Planck level DNA, and you look at sacred geometry, the way that the Fibonacci code, the way that nature grows, and we're naturally expanding. The universe is growing and expanding and becoming wiser. And if you tune into that energy, which is within you all the time, you can always tune into it, then the truth will continue to reveal itself.
Yeah, I like what Nako Bear said, riffing off that. He said that we're birthing a new world. This is what we're doing right now.
Right. Every Planck second, there's like 1,000,000 seconds per second of Planck movements. And so that change on that molecular level, if you change within, then your experience without will start to also change.
Manifesting, huh?
Yeah, yeah. And the first,
Planck manifesting.
yeah,
So we met on set, right? We met on a film set
yep, in Hollywood.
with Kyle on the beach. Weren't we on the beach the first
Oh,
time?
right, yeah, that was for not faking it, Venice, the one about Venice.
With Jennifer Beals, yeah. She
Yeah,
was there.
and we got to kick it on the beach and get paid to be on camera. Those are the good old days.
Yeah, you, me, and Kyle. Shout out, Kyle. And then you were very nice and kind to let me grow as a musician in the sound soiree. I will never forget that. I learned how to sing to the piano in there. I had my own space to grow. I loved that space.
Beautiful. I sold that piano 2 days ago.
Oh my God. The Galileo, right?
Oh, actually, the Galileo's right here.
Oh, that's the one I would play on.
Yeah, here with my perro, Pepe.
Pepe and the Galileo.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I
this has
love that
been
piano.
from New York to LA with me.
That's awesome.
So,
Oh, Rodriguez Lopez said she likes the word manifest.
yeah, well, if you want to talk about meditation, that's my specialty. And my album that I self-released is called Creation Creator, and
Nice.
it's supposed to sound like Jason Creation, Taylor Creator. And the key to manifestation, everybody thinks it's do, 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 or visualize and do, do, but it's actually equal parts feminine and masculine energy. Jason Creation, we are creations of this great, big, marvelous universe. And you must surrender to that first before you can become a conscious creator.
Surrender. Oof, that's tough to be vulnerable.
Yeah, yeah.
Oof.
Way.
I mean, with enough self-work, it becomes easier. But if you're not doing anything, it's not easy, you know.
Right. What would you, just curious, what would you manifest if you could, if 100 years from now, there's a celebration of your life and everyone that you ever knew was there, anybody that ever appreciated you, they're all there and they're all just saying, you know what, Stina, thank you so much for.
Uh, Always smiling.
Yeah. And one of the funniest things I mentioned this the other day, but the funniest thing is about boot camp. And you were in boot camp for the Navy, and you're like, well, you're not allowed to smile. So I got in trouble every day. That's the
It's the
best.
worst. Just
Yeah.
be, you're taught to just be yourself, right? And in boot camp, it's like all that goes out the window.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
you can't be yourself because you're learning to be whatever they want you to be, I suppose. But anyways, I love the Navy, whatever. And
But
so you're on the beach, right? So that's good for you creatively.
yeah, there's nothing that I appreciate more some days than being able to breathe with the waves. I mean, it's literally the earth breathing. The way that the waves crash and you can inhale and exhale with that sound. It's a great way to kind of lose yourself and forget the small me and tune into a bigger energy.
Oh yeah, Wim Hof, who's one of my favorite practitioners, he says you breathe in with the wave and you let the wave go back into the depth when you breathe out. I love that.
Nice.
So you work with Ryan Cabrera, right? Are you still with that guy?
Well, we've had a couple of fun experiences together. We've raised some money for cancer research, and then he hosted a cruise, and we went on a cruise from Miami to the Bahamas with some other people. Chris Oberly is a badass magician, and Secondhand Serenade, a bunch of artists. Yeah, so I think Ryan's hunkering down in Florida somewhere, just holding it low key in quarantine.
Oh, okay. So maybe eventually you'll get back to playing together.
Yeah, I would love to do some more stuff with Ryan. He's a
That's cool.
He's badass on the craps table. He's
Yeah.
up like 5 hours on the craps table. He was rolling for 5 hours straight. I think he was up like 6 grand at the end of the night.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, all right. Well, I'll look forward to crashing that party soon. What's your favorite instrument?
Um, I mean, I grew up on the guitar, but there's something about the piano that has an effortlessness to it. There's sometimes that I can just sit and smoke a joint and forget the world in front of a piano. But Deserted Island, I'd still choose an acoustic guitar.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know the piano is, well, the piano has all the keys. I mean, you can't beat that. But
Oh,
the acoustic is very peaceful. So are you engaged? Is this true?
yeah, yeah. We've been engaged for about a year now.
Wow.
Lisa is, I think, on a call in the other room. Our wedding date is still set for May 15th, 2021. And now we just need to find a place that we can bring our family and friends together, and hopefully that can go down. And yeah, her love has been the greatest lesson for a boy like me that grew up, in a broken home. My father left when I was very young, and my mother had another boyfriend that I didn't get along with too well. And so growing up, I didn't feel loved. I was loved, but I didn't receive it very well. And then this angel came along, and she taught me how to receive love. And I couldn't be more grateful. She's really, really an amazing woman. I'm looking forward to making that commitment.
Congratulations. I love Lisa. She's always been very kind to me.
Yeah, she also loves to smile.
Just smile at each other all day.
Sometimes it's pretty silly. We probably make other people sick.
Oh, don't get me started. People have asked me, why am I so happy? Unbelievable.
Well,
Like literally, many people.
yeah, yeah.
I say my answers are I'm an actor, I drink a lot of coffee. I don't have to defend it, but I do.
I tell them it's a gift. This whole experience is a gift. Like, would you choose this or not this? Right? At the end of the day, would you? I'm going to close the window because there's Can you hear the
Just
explosion?
a little bit, not too bad.
Um, yeah, this whole life is, well, it's just an opportunity. Every morning you get that, and you can do with the day anything that you please. As long as you don't harm anybody. It's really a gift. And so what's not to be grateful? What's not to be happy?
Yeah, right. And that's what, well, I believe these reality lessons are trying to teach us is especially with the COVID, it was like, oh my gosh, I woke up healthy. Wow.
Yeah, we became so much more grateful for everything. Became so much more precious. The first hug that I had after like 2 months with a friend was just like we didn't want to let go.
Oh, I know. When I'm hugging people, I don't even care if they try to pull away. I'm not letting them. Thank you, Rodriguez Lopez. I know you smile a lot too.
I hope
So,
that.
I went to boot camp with I Shanti. What's the thing? I Shanti.
Oh,
Rodriguez Lopez.
so they're familiar with you breaking all those smiling rules.
Yes, and she got in trouble a lot too, so she knows. So your puppies, I wish they could come on today, but they're in New York now, right?
York, and I'll be there soon. We're going to be starting driving, I think, on Tuesday. I just drove across the country last week, and we dropped off the dogs in New York. And I'm really just going to, because it's hard not to be affected by the outside world. And I think if there was ever a time to deepen my meditation, that this is it. I'm still going to go out and be active because acquiescence, I think, is the greatest crime that you could commit. To condone through lack of protest what's going on right now with the police state, and it is most pronounced with Black Lives Matter, but it's also true that police brutality also knows no bounds when it comes to race or gender. My sister's white girlfriend years ago had her ass beat by the police. and she did nothing wrong whatsoever, you know. And so right now, first we'll start with Black Lives Matter, and we'll get that platform going, and then we'll continue it on to the rest of the lives. Because just like when Jesus lost one of his 100 sheep, he didn't just say, or the 99 other sheep didn't say, oh, what about us? He said, you know what, I need to go and find that one sheep. And so that's why Black Lives Matter, not all lives matter right now.
Yes, it's a way to the next step.
Right.
I'm not even going to respond because I get passionate about what this is going to do because I have ideas on it, but that's another situation.
Sure. But
Uh,
anyway,
'cause-
I want to just say that I see a peaceful world where people know that at the bottom of their DNA, we all came from Africa. We're all the same. And at
yes.
the time, we are all so different and diverse, and it's so beautiful. And it's through that diversity that we're able to love.
If you just look everybody in the eyes, you can see the 6 degrees of separation, but people don't make eye contact and they don't look into the depth of one's soul, you know?
Yeah, well, I did the landmark forum, and they forced us to stand about 3 feet apart from each other and just look at each other in one eye. The left eye is your more emotional. It's tied to the right side of your brain, as opposed to the cognitive kind of problem solving of the left side of your brain. And so, if you somebody and you want to connect with them and you don't know how, maybe you're arguing and you're not getting along, just shut up and look at each other in the eyes for 1 minute. You'll
Right.
find
But
love.
yeah, you have to be vulnerable to do that. I know that.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's
It
hard.
is hard. It's
I,
hard, but it's hard, but it's a natural high.
yeah, that too. That too.
So what would you like to do a little performance and then we could continue talking after?
Sure. Yeah. I'll play you a song that does tie into Black Lives Matter. It has a lot to do. A lot to do with personal responsibility. Ultimate freedom comes with radical responsibility. You can't have freedom without responsibility, and that's really what this world is. You know, we've been given freedom of choice, and so right now I'm calling on everybody to love to the greatest degree. And if there's any resistance in your body, if there's anybody that you look at and you say, they're not worthy of love because they're a racist or whatever. Donald Trump's not worthy of love because he's a pig. You know, maybe if he was loved in the first place, he wouldn't be the monster he is today. So let's get rid of that resistance within.
I'm
And
gonna let my cat watch you while you perform, okay?
all right.
I don't see her, but
Yeah, I've been looking around, keeping my thoughts to myself, but now I'm part of the problem. Just like everyone else, I've been relying on you to bring the hope that we need. I've been waiting for you to change the world for me, and now it's up to you. The choice is yours. Take that shade we all now don't take it from me. I'm real, I do tomorrow. Just try to make believe. If you don't work a little harder, tell me what you believe. You succeed. Destiny's not sweet. It's a thing to be achieved. It's up to you. The choice is yours. Contain that shade. We all know for. You know it's never too late to become what you could have been. Since all we seem to be is just a dream within a dream. Tell me what you would do if you knew you would succeed. Destiny is not students, it's a thing to be achieved. But not with hate or envy or jealousy, not with hate or love. Better learn to love. Better learn to love. So tell me today how you really feel. It's up to you. The choice is yours. You gotta take that change. You're forward. Yeah, yeah.
I love it.
A song called Generation Letter.
Generation Letter.
That's right.
That's awesome. I love, and you know, the love got me. I was tearing a little bit on the
You know,
side there.
I wrote that line over 10 years ago. I was on a cruise with John Mayer, and he was hosting what he called the Mayer Craft Carrier. And Heath Ledger had just passed away. And all of a sudden, Twitter and the world has this huge outpouring of love for Heath Ledger. And Mayer was like, you know, why don't you tell me today that you love me? Tell me today how you really feel, because you never know if it's going to be too late. Right now, Aaron Carter just started a live video. It popped up as a notification on my Instagram. And he was an inch away from death with his addiction. And it's been the outpouring of love that has saved his life. And so, yeah, really, that's what I'm saying right now. Is tell me today. If you got beef, let me know so we can work.
What about it? Hey, what about it?
Yeah, it's nothing worse than ghosting people, blocking people. You know, that's separation. You're creating separation.
Right.
You are the divide in the world when you choose to block somebody. And it's okay to have healthy boundaries, you know, and you have to put yourself first. But at the end of the day, if you're perpetuating divide, that's the reality that you're creating. You got to take ownership for that.
Oof, it's too real.
Yeah.
Especially with social media. Because if, you know, you and I meet a lot of people, it's hard to put them, where do we put them in our lives, you know? It's a challenge for sure.
Yeah, my front yard. The barbecue, you know. But
Oh yeah, I love your barbecues. Do you have a one more song you can sing?
sure, I can play you a song that you know very well. And it ties into what we're talking about. It really is like, take responsibility for the change in the world by finding peace within yourself. If you need help, reach out to me, and I can share some tools with you. But for now, I recorded this song a few years back with Daryl Swan, Grammy Award-winning producer. He produced Macy Gray, I Try, which is the first music video I can ever remember seeing on MTV. It was just one of those like full circle moments. I was like 12 years old, and I was sleeping over at my sister's. She was my older sister, and I was never allowed to watch MTV. And I turned it on, and there's Macy Gray. I try to walk away, and I stumble. When I produced this song with Daryl, I invited you, Christina, to come over and
Yes.
And be part of the recording session. So it was me, you, and Rojo. And,
Yeah.
And right now the song is like 30 something on the global rock charts. I'm in the top 100 for adult contemporary. And also I think top 100 for global indie artists. It's a song.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Even though I'm grateful people are still listening to music right now because there's so much going on, but it's an interesting time to be on the charts, but it couldn't be more appropriate for the times.
Well, hard work pays off, my friend.
Yeah, it sure does. 10,000 hours. So, yeah, the song is about tuning into your truest self and letting that emanate, and not letting anything block your light. Baby, take my hand, try to take you past the sand. Take you deep, teach you how to dream. I can teach you all kinds of things, from sex to family, living in a blue dream. Baby, you feeling me? Why don't you take my hand? Try to understand this energy flowing through me. sturdy, been more than flirty. I've been known to cross the line with those who provoke me. Feeling me, feeling me. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Technicolor film fading, skating through the space between. Experience the earth moving. And baby, we can see all kinds of things, from Vegas to Cabo, Puerto Vallarta, LA to New York, Chicago, layover, Bermuda in the rain. Remember? Oh, resist the need to be, don't think, just feel, just breathe. Now you're the desert stream, glistening like a mirage of diamond rings. Feeling me, feeling me. Ooh, ooh, feeling me, feeling me. Bring him to a party in the room. You can bring whoever you are today. We'll party in the room. Yeah. Feeling me, feeling me. Ooh, feeling me, feeling me. Feeling me, feeling me. So when you look at the mirror and you look into your own eyes, you can just look at yourself right in your own eyes and you can say, I love you, 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 thank you, thank you, thank you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
It's too good. I love that song.
Thank you, Stina.
And that video's coming out soon, right? I love that video.
There's a snippet so far that we filmed. It's pretty funny. We used it as the promotion for this live stream, and yeah, it's just me sitting in a meditative position, and we used a really cool projection mapping software. So it's all analog, no digital After Effects. It's just real shit on camera, and you'll find that the deeper that you tune within, you'll find that the inside is just as vast as the outside. And so there's an entire universe within you, and once you learn to tune in and cultivate that universe, synchronicities will come to form.
I love synchronicity.
Have you had any beautiful ones recently?
Um, I had a really good deja vu in Home Depot. It was like this lady was there. I've seen it before, you know. This same lady walked past me, and I was just standing there like,
Yeah.
and my mom's like, "Let's go," you know.
Well, they say with the quantum mechanics of the world, it turns out that space-time is just an illusion. And it's only our limited perspective as spiritual beings having a human experience that we experience time. But so now they're having studies that show that if you actually pray for people in the past, the universe will go back and correct and fix mistakes in the past, and that's equally how you can affect the future. And so it's very interesting if you hear about what is the effect? What is it called? I want to call it the Doppler effect, or the you know what I'm talking about, where Flintstones was Flintstones, and how the past seems to be warping and changing. Um,
Um,
do you know what I'm?
I'm not. It sounds a little familiar, but I couldn't get it right now.
Oh, what is it called? Mandela effect. The Mandela.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out like we can rewrite history. History doesn't have to be his white man's story anymore. And
I
turn
think that we're waking up to that idea.
get to control the narrative. So I reject being white. I know that my DNA comes from Africa. Like I just reject it. You can call me,
Right.
but I don't wear that. I don't own that. You know, and I'm not going to label anybody else. Race is an illusion, and racism is very real.
Yeah. I mean, a lot. Everything's an illusion, technically, but
Right. If we get back down to that Planck energy.
Planck. I don't know if you answered, but I like my guests to bring either a deep quote or an enlightenment experience to share.
mm, mm. Okay, I'll give you my enlightenment experience.
Okay.
This is when my faith in the greater good and the greater God.
I'm gonna fix the lighting. Go ahead.
Sure. It's when it came to be unshakable. A couple of years ago, I drove my grandmother, my grandma Dean, with my Aunt Sherry across the country.
I love Sherry.
She's in Sarasota still. And and my grandmother was up there. You know, she was like 94 years old. And she started to wane. And I went on the Backstreet Boys cruise in Miami. I'm always going to singers. I don't know why. I love them.
Good.
And visit. And I saw my grandma, and she just said, you know what? I've had a really great life, and I just want to eat chocolate and go to sleep and not wake up because my aunt is always making her eat healthy, and
That's it.
just wanted to enjoy her last years, you know. And so she started to deteriorate, and she ended up in the hospital, and she was in a coma, and it was looking like she was going to go. And one night, she woke up, and there was a little bowl of chocolate pudding in front of her. And she woke up from this coma, and she ate the chocolate pudding, and she went back to sleep. And during that very moment in time, I was driving by a restaurant here in Los Angeles that I used to take her for her birthday and Mother's Day. And in the parking lot, a truck had turned on its headlights. So it was this big flash of light. And through the flash of light was a red 1967 Jaguar XKE convertible. And she used to have the same car as a coupe, non-convertible. And her husband, after my grandfather, she remarried to a man that treated her much better. And he used to take her hand and take her for rides in the Jaguar and say, you and me, babe. And so he told me that when she goes, that she just wants to get back in the Jag with Ronnie and ride off into heaven, and she hopes it's a convertible. And so I just see this car, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just start to see, I feel a tingling, like a warm, like her hands were on the back of my skull. And I just feel my spine get taller, and I'm just being like almost pulled out of my seat. And I just feel this warm, tingling sensation go through my body, and then it releases. And I just start bawling my eyes out. And the next day, I'm on the phone with my aunt's friend Rosie, who is also a very dear friend to my grandmother. And I told her, yeah, you know, it looks like my grandma's about to pass. And as I said that, a beautiful yellow butterfly flew right up into my face, and it swarmed around my head. I'll be right back. And this was a card that I gave my grandmother. And this is the teddy bear that she gave me as a child. And it's I saw a beautiful yellow butterfly, and I thought of you. And this was my gift to her for either Mother's Day or her birthday. I forget. I think it was Mother's Day. And so in this moment, the butterfly swirling my head, and I'm like, Rosie, there's this butterfly. And I think, you know, it's my grandma. And she says, that's her. That's her. That's definitely her. And, you know, it was just a nice moment. But then we get off the phone, and my aunt calls. And she said 15 minutes ago, which was exactly the moment of the butterfly, your grandmother passed away.
Yeah.
And there was such a peace in that moment, and such a knowing of love and divine alignment and synchronicity, that I couldn't possibly do anything but celebrate the love and the experience that I've been given. I mean, how do you experience that and not know love, right? So the next day, I get another call from my aunt, my grandfather, who beat my grandmother years ago, and she had left him 60 years ago. He fell and hit his head in the same spot where my grandmother had whacked him with a frying pan for hoarding money from her. So he had and passes away 24 hours after my grandmother. So
60 years.
yeah, and so I can only assume, into heaven she ascended, and I got to meet my grandfather later in my 20s, and he seemed like he had chilled out a lot. He was a veteran of World War II, and he worked on the airplanes, and so he'd send out his buddies, and then they'd get shot out of the sky, and then the airplanes would come back to be repaired, and he'd have to pull out the dead body.
Oh, that's terrible.
You see the name tag, and it's like, oh, I knew that guy. And so
Oh, God.
he came back, married my grandmother, had my father, and then he just couldn't handle the PTSD, and so even the villain that my father made him out to be, I said, Dad, you got to forgive this man before he passes. He never got the chance to forgive him, but I'm glad that I meet him, and I'm glad that I got to forgive him, and so now we talk about toxic masculinity. The buck stops here. Like, I could continue to perpetuate the things that my father learned from my grandfather, but I don't. I choose not to. And sometimes that requires a great deal of stillness, and sometimes it requires a great deal of patience from this woman right here.
Hi, Lisa. How are you? See you soon.
We'll be New York.
New York, New York. Oh, I watched a movie today that had a character named Ronnie in it.
Oh yeah, that's
When does that happen,
yeah. That was my father, Ronnie. He took a lot better care of my grandmother, and so I'd like to think that they're up in heaven together. But I honestly feel like we can cultivate.
She's with Elvis now.
She's with Elvis. He's up too. You think? No, but for real, like I don't know if this is a final note, but on an important note, there can be a very heavenly experience on Earth, and I'm in it. Despite the turbulence in the world today, I had a beautiful encounter with a black dude, a Latin dude, a black chick. Like, I'm just having a wonderful life, and I'm not experiencing racism, and that is a privilege. But I'm also washing my hands of it. I went black on my default photo and just posted links of my more melanated brothers and sisters' messages. Like, right now is a time to shift the paradigm, and we can cultivate a heavenly experience on Earth. And there's always going to be diversity. There's always going to be pain along with the beauty. But even in losing my grandmother, one of the most painful moments of my life was so beautiful, because I can see the divine alignment in how the events unfolded. She got to live to 94, and I experienced a grandmother's love. And so even in these experiences, which can be extremely painful, right now we're mourning the death of George Floyd. But in the wake of that, I see an article of his daughter. She's like 6 or 7 years old, and she says, my father changed the world. How beautiful is that? So it's where we place our focus. It's the work that we do on ourselves, and it's holding this peaceful resonation. If you're not at peace, reach out to me. We'll find the peace within. At the bottom, it's who you are. Everything else is a distraction. Everything else is just an illusion.
And synchronicity exists. I don't know why a lot of people don't see it. I think the more aware of it, the more it increases. I learned that in LA, because more people are open to the reality. But yeah, the signs are there. Synchronicity is real. We just stop ourselves from being spiritual. We're just physical beings at this point, and it's not what we are, you know?
Yeah. So I mean, any disease on the molecular level is just tension. It's just resistance. It's like not allowing. And so the people who don't get to experience synchronicities, that was my fiance for a long time. She didn't experience them. She was pissed. She's like, why do I not experience them? And I think it turns out that she was working at a hospital as a nurse. And so she's with the sick all the time. She had to turn off her compassion in order to just cope with her profession. As soon as she took the leap out of that job and dove into following her passion and following her excitements, she started to see the numbers and the experiences, and she would say something and then it would manifest, and she's just, her whole experience has changed because she made the choice
Oh,
to pay herself first.
everything's a choice.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's great. I love, my mom is every now and then tunes into it. I love it when like we'll say something and then the TV will say, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep. So it's just divine alignment. The more that you strengthen your spiritual core, the more that you become a vortex for manifestation, and things, you'll become an attractor, right? So if you're not in that divine alignment, if you don't accept and surrender and be grateful and hold that high vibration, you become disruptive, and so chaos will ensue in your life. You know.
I love it. It's so fun to see the signs. It's like a game, a reality game.
And I know when I don't meditate, if I miss a day or heaven forbid 2 days, and all of a sudden my life is erupting, oh my, it's
I
just,
know. And it's hard to keep it going. I haven't, yeah, I don't do it consistently, but when I get the energy, I do it. And it always helps without fail to go within, without fail.
yeah.
But okay, so where can people follow you for future updates and more music?
Cool. So right now I'm a little bit like pseudo offline because my Apple iPhone shit the bed, and so I don't have a phone. I'm live streaming from Lisa's phone, but
Nice.
still checking now and then. Hit me up here on Instagram, No Drinks on the Piano. On Facebook, I'm Jason Taylor or Jason Ryan Taylor Music. Thank you, thank you. I bet I love your ideas too. Let's chat.
No.
Hey, you can
Rodriguez Lopez, message him. He's awesome.
email me at nodrinksonthepiano@gmail.com. Twitter is JTaylive, JayTaylive. And then finally, the hub is jasonryantaylor.com.
It's awesome. And congrats on your success with your Feeling Me. And I can't wait to see the full video.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining. I love catching up with you. I love that you have an open mind and understand the things that I'm saying. I seek that depth, and it's rare, and I'm very lucky to have you as a friend.
Oh, me too. Thank you so much, Stina. I love you.
I love you, Jason.
Kookaburra.
Kookaburra. Shout out. And I'll see you soon. I'm coming to Albany, so get your acres ready for me.
Sounds good. New York.
Thank you, Jason.
All right, babies.
Thank you. Love you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye. So Jason is awesome. I love him so much. I met him in LA several years ago, and we stay in touch. Next week's guests, we're going to have the president of New York SAG-AFTRA and vice president of National SAG-AFTRA, the Actors Union, Rebecca Damon. We're going to see how she can educate us on what the union's doing for performers in these times. And she's just an awesome person. So looking forward to that. Thank you for everyone for joining. Please do breath work, do meditation, go on a short walk, whatever the level is for you to self-care. Please take 5 minutes. Don't, put the phone down for 5 minutes, or, just turn it over. That's all you have to do. Stay safe if you go out there. And thank you again for watching. Blessings and love to you all. I'll see you soon.